Thank you for your interest in the Midler Ave Court Ave Multi-Modal Study. The Syracuse Metropolitan Transportation Council, or SMTC, is conducting the study on behalf of the City of Syracuse with participation from the towns of DeWitt and Salina and New York State Department of Transportation. This presentation will provide a brief overview of the study and provide details on potential recommendations that will be discussed at an upcoming public meeting, which will be held on June 16th. More details will be provided at the end of this presentation. The SMTC is the Metropolitan Planning Organization for the Syracuse region, which includes all of Onondaga County and towns in Oswego and Madison counties. The SMTC's role is to foster continuous, cooperative, and comprehensive planning. This includes developing a long-range transportation plan, prioritizing funding for infrastructure, and conducting studies of specific transportation issues at the community level. For more information, see our website www.smtcmpo.org. So what is a Metropolitan Planning Organization? A Metropolitan Planning Organization, or MPO, is a transportation policymaking and planning body made up of representatives of local, state, and federal government and transportation authorities. The Policy Committee is the designated MPO. The Policy Committee includes 13 voting members and 6 non-voting members, as shown in the graphic here. The MPO is charged with the comprehensive, cooperative, and continuous transportation planning process for a metropolitan region. The SMTC has been asked by the City of Syracuse to evaluate issues and identify opportunities to help increase pedestrian and bicycle trips, reduce vehicle miles traveled and personal vehicle trips, improve pedestrian and bicycle safety along the corridor, improve accessibility and mobility for all road users, and preserve existing infrastructure and focus investment in areas already served by significant infrastructure investments, with the overall aim of improving connectivity across municipal lines. The study is focused along the Court Street, Court Ave, and Midler Ave corridor, from Court Street in the city of Syracuse, Court Street in the town of Salina, Court Ave in the town of DeWitt, and Midler Ave in the city of Syracuse. In the fall of 2025, a public survey was announced and received over 230 responses. Respondents were asked to rate their level of comfort for each section of the study corridor when they are driving and when they are walking or riding a bike. Driver comfort always rated significantly higher than the comfort of people walking and biking. Vehicle speeds was the top issue highlighted along the corridor for all road users, with an emphasis around Lyncourt School. Driver inattention, especially around intersections, was a common complaint. There is a frustration and a level of confusion around the changing street design. During the survey period, new striping was being installed along Court Street in the city of Syracuse. Overall, many respondents felt that the corridor as a whole is very car-centric, making it an unpleasant place to be outside of a vehicle. Survey respondents were asked to rank from 1 to 10 different improvements that may be considered as part of this effort. Pedestrian-focused improvements were ranked the highest, with an emphasis on improved lighting and crossings. Dedicated cycling infrastructure was more polarizing, with supporters believing its inclusion is key to creating a safer corridor for all road users, while opponents voiced frustration over confusing striping, narrowed lanes, and impeded movements. Based off the survey responses, internal data collection, and fieldwork, SMTC staff considered several techniques and improvements that may address some of the issues identified. Road diets reduce the number of travel lanes while improving turning movements. A common road diet changes a 4-lane roadway into 2 travel lanes with a center turn lane. Pedestrian refuge islands help to narrow the roadway, reducing crossing distance for pedestrians. They act as a pinch point, promoting slower vehicle speeds. Pedestrian all-cross phases, sometimes called a barn stance, allow people walking to cross in all directions without any vehicle movements. This helps to reduce conflicts and improve visibility for people walking. Rectangular rapid flashing beacons, or RRFBs, help improve visibility for people crossing at unsignalized intersections. When flashing, vehicles must yield to anyone in this crosswalk. Off-street bike facilities, including directional lanes and shared use paths, improve safety for people riding bikes, especially in areas where space between the curbs is tight. Two-way cycle tracks create predictable travel lanes for people riding bikes while providing space to ride further away from traffic when necessary. The wider lanes also make snow clearing in the winter an easier task as plows are able to fit. Looking at the study corridor as a whole, we must consider a mixture of facilities to fit the needs of each segment, including directional bike lanes, two-way cycle tracks, and shared use paths. We are also considering a road diet through Lyncourt to right-size the street to its current needs. Additionally, pedestrian improvements along Midler Ave and the potential use of an all-cross pedestrian phase at the James-Midler intersection. Let's look at some key intersections along the corridor to see how this all fits together. The Court Street Roxford Road intersection connects a small business corridor with a residential neighborhood. To accommodate new bicycle infrastructure, travel lanes are reduced from 3 to 2 west of Roxford Road and from 4 to 3 east of Roxford Road. Directional bike lanes, similar to the ones recently installed on Court Street within the city, continue up to Roxford Road before transitioning to a two-way cycle track west of Roxford Road. The directional bike lanes help preserve and define the on-street parking lane near the commercial businesses. East of Roxford, on-street parking would be removed. Let's take a look from the street level. You can see the transition using bike crossing markings from the directional bike lanes to the two-way cycle track. Outside of Lyncourt School, survey respondents voiced concern that drivers were speeding through the school zone, creating unsafe conditions for families walking to and from school. Continuing the road diet helps remove the sense of wide open roads to speed while providing space for the two-way cycle track to continue along the corridor. A pedestrian refuge island at the Wyndham Ave intersection helps to further narrow the roadway while reducing crossing distances for families. Pursuing the installation of school zone speed cameras similar to those operating within the city of Syracuse would help reinforce the desired speeds. Additionally, closing redundant commercial driveways will help reduce conflicts on the sidewalk and cycle track. Let's take a look from the street level. The pedestrian refuge island not only helps reduce speeds and crossing distances, but can also be seen as a placemaking tool to mark an important entrance into the community. The Court Street Teal Ave intersection marks one of the first shifts in character along the corridor into a more highway-like design. Here, we continue with the road diet, including alternating turn lanes at key intersections. The two-way cycle track would continue through the intersection. Additionally, Onondaga County is proposing a bike lane along Teal Ave as part of an upcoming capital project. Adding a bike box at the intersection will help people riding bikes safely turn onto the cycle track. Narrowing or removing commercial driveways should be considered to reduce conflict points near the intersection. Let's take a look from the street level. Traffic volumes through this intersection can easily be handled by the reduced lane capacity. Traveling east, Court Street shifts character into a more highway-like design with a wide grassy median and large travel lanes. Reducing eastbound travel lanes from 2 to 1 west of Arterial and from 3 to 2 east of Arterial reduces capacity slightly, but still within acceptable levels of service. By reducing the travel lanes, the cycle track is able to continue along the southern edge of the street. Again, closing and narrowing commercial driveways will help reduce conflict points while creating more predictable movements by vehicles. Let's take a look from the street. On the one-way street, a bike signal is necessary to ensure westbound riders know when they are allowed to move through the intersection. The transition between Court Street and New Court Ave creates a pinch point as we continue east. Shifting the cycle track onto an expanded sidewalk to create a shared use path helps connect people walking and riding bikes through the intersection with minimal construction. East of Noble Ave, the roadway widens, allowing for people on bikes to shift back onto the road into a two-way cycle track. While Newcourt Ave has an existing sidewalk, the lack of tree cover can often make the sidewalk unpleasant. Encouraging the planting of street trees or trees in the front lawns of businesses, along with the installation of pedestrian scale lighting, can greatly improve the walking experience. Let's take a look from the street level. The expanded sidewalk would be 8 to 10 feet. While this is a tight space to share, the overall volume of people walking and biking is fairly low, so conflicts are unlikely to occur. As Newcourt Ave heads south to re-enter the city of Syracuse as North Midler Ave, the corridor transitions from a light industrial commercial area to a more residential neighborhood. To continue to fit the two-way cycle track, the southbound left turn lane would be removed. Low numbers of turning vehicles should not impact mobility through the intersection. Survey responses and travel data indicates a need for pedestrian infrastructure along North Midler Ave as it continues east under the railroad bridge. Installing a sidewalk is crucial to improving accessibility and safety for people walking to and from the neighborhood on the other side of the bridge. Let's take a look from the street. South of the intersection, the cycle track will begin to narrow to accommodate on-street parking. Under the railroad bridge, the travel lanes will shift closer to the northern wall, providing space for a 5-foot sidewalk along the southern wall. A planned greenway along Tyson Place offers an opportunity to connect to the expanding bike network within the city. The two-way cycle track, narrowed to accommodate on-street parking, would end at Tyson Place, connecting to the upcoming greenway. South of Tyson Place, on-street directional bike lanes would continue towards James Street, eventually shifting onto the curb. Let's take a look from the street level. Bike boxes give priority to bike riders looking to turn onto the greenway network. The James Street Midler Ave intersection is on the city's high injury network within the Vision Zero action plan. No turn on red signage has recently been installed as a way to reduce potential conflict points. As the intersection is already tight on space as it tries to accommodate several important turning movements, shifting bike facilities onto the curb provides the safest approach. These paths include directional shared use lanes as well as a dedicated directional lane where space is available. Extending the curb on the southeast corner helps slow turning movements and discourages using the lane as two separate lanes as currently happens. Additionally, utilizing a push-activated pedestrian all-cross phase would allow people to walk through the intersection without any vehicle movements, improving visibility and safety. Let's take a look from the street. People on bikes traveling north will need to dismount briefly near the northeast corner, as existing utilities create a tight space that's unsafe for both people walking and biking to use at the same time. South of James Street, people must travel half a mile to Sunnycrest Road in order to cross Midler Ave on foot. To address this lack of connectivity, an unsignalized pedestrian crossing with rectangular rapid flashing beacons at Glen Cove Road will reduce the distance significantly while providing direct access to a new bakery opening soon. Directional bike lanes continue south along the corridor, eventually connecting in with the Caleb Ave Greenway. Reinforcing the buffer near intersections with flex posts will help to visually narrow the roadway and promote safer turns. Additionally, the improved visibility will ensure all intersection movements are safer. Let's take a look from the street. Reinforcing the bike lanes near intersections with flex posts will also cut down on vehicles illegally parking on the bike lane and obstructing visibility for those looking to cross. With that, we would like to invite you to our public meeting on Tuesday, June 16th at the Lyncourt School Auditorium from 5 to 7 p.m. The meeting will include a shortened version of this presentation, along with concept boards of the ideas presented here. You can stop by at any time during the event to chat with SMTC staff about the study and provide your thoughts. If you have any questions prior to this meeting or are unable to attend but would still like to provide input, please feel free to contact us with the information on your screen. Thank you, and we look forward to seeing you on June 16th.